I don't like the feeling that ReZero Season 3 is giving me. The feeling that I'm not used to when it comes to ReZero, and that's hope. Like things are gonna work out. That we're gonna succeed. Hell, dare I say, no one's gonna die. And because I know we're watching ReZero, that makes me incredibly concerned that the more episodes we go down, we climb up the mountain, the more I'm waiting for the unexpected sledgehammer to the face and us to roll back to square one. Now, you would have to say, like, there's no way, right? If anything, the checkpoint would have to be updated. And as long as that's the case, it's better than what it could be. But this is like, if we actually manage to get through Season 3 victorious, without major deaths, I'm scared for what Season 4 is going to look like. Because there's no way, as a author of ReZero, you let them be this victorious and triumphant, only to have more or less that continue on. No, that means Subaru's going back to fate's worse than death. You thought the rabbits were bad? Oh, you just wait. Squirrels are probably next, I don't know. But for an episode dedicated completely to Priscilla and this little songstress, it's really impressive how much of a 10 out of 10 episode it felt like, because while I never have hated Little Miss Songstress, I've never considered her one of my favorite characters in this cast. And to primarily focus on her POV and for have me eyes glued to the screen really is a testament to not only the writing, but I think what's going to be really undersold is the sound directing of this episode, especially with how they use the lack of music or the lack of voice on top of a song, and when we finally do hear her sing, it's when she's confident and kind of in her prime. Either way, fantastic episode, and if you didn't watch after the credits, you probably should go do that, because it does answer exactly, which I thought was pretty clear last week, but they clarify further why Subaru, obviously understands what to do and how he's going to defeat Professor Diddy over here, which actually does clarify quite a bit. Of course, if you want to support my work, though, see my full thoughts on these amazing episodes, we got the Patreon, full live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. So I thought I don't know really anything about stars and names and the like, but when Subaru last week said that, his name is related to stars in his own world, I said, oh, that makes sense. And he pretty much says that again, just expands his thoughts. So he even, which I thought was a really nice detail, they talk about how previous people he's battled, how his names, like old Beetlejuice, relates to this constellation, and then obviously Regulus to this, and the Little King. And what I really like is how they, within like the span of a minute and a half, they say like, hey, the Little Kingdom, okay, yes, well, that's great, he can stop time. How are you going to exploit that when he can stop time for himself? Oh, it relates to his kingdom. He needs to be separated from his kingdom, and his kingdom is actually his number of wives. And I think that was the moment where it all really clicked for me, because the idea that him in close proximity to, and it makes sense, if his power is based on the number of wives he has in order to keep his power to its most potential, adding more and more ridiculous numbers to it makes a lot of sense, because he has more wiggle room if shit goes wrong, probably, and it probably also just increases his power too. So the idea that we use Amelia to hopefully get the wives to move away means eventually his power is going to drop, and we could probably put him down for good. Though, I'm still concerned, but things are looking a lot more up. But this was, without a doubt, these two's episode, and it has me asking a question. Can Priscilla get Subaru some of that jewelry? Because she had multiple times she died. Or should have died. And there's one scene specifically where we know damn well she died, but that thing reverted the damage. She got sliced in two, man. So when she takes damage, you see little pieces of her jewelry break. She has this one necklace with 3 gems in it. She has, obviously, earrings, some hair stuff. Like, the fact that she's able to fight to this extreme and just brush it off. Like, can you please loan Subaru some of that? Like, it would solve a lot of issues for us, is all I'm saying. It was really nice because, obviously, Priscilla, she has this queen energy to her. And something I really appreciate is, despite how much I'm loving watching Priscilla do this crazy shit, and I'm saying, damn, maybe we should support her, you can't deny the fact that they're equally giving Amelia these badass moments too. Like, look at last week's episode. I mean, she was doing some crazy ass martial arts figure skating. It was fantastic. So it's not feeling like Amelia's being left behind. It's just Priscilla's character design and everything about her just clicks with me more. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. But I appreciate that Amelia's also not being left in the dust. So this was all about the songstress and her backstory. They start off with the backstory, first like 5 minutes of the episode. a lot of modern day stuff, and you learn a lot about her family and where she came from, and it's not, I'm not going to say she has the worst backstory I've seen, but it's not a great one either. I mean, she pretty much got replaced by her parents. Like, her parents didn't seem that loving to begin with, but, you know, she seemed happy enough, so I said, she's okay. And then comes the point where she runs away from home, she wants her own independence. Hey, it happens, I get it. Bumps into her family in the market, they already have another baby, and I gotta be honest, they look happier with that baby than they did with her. From anything, maybe they just like the baby age range, and they'll treat that one like shit too eventually, I don't know. But she had the best disguise, of course, the paper bag, so they didn't notice her. But be honest, with how much mediocre love they gave off, I doubt they would have even cared. But my favorite point in this entire episode, which is probably not going to be most people's, people will say, oh, look at that one action scene, or look at that gruesome scene. My favorite scene is what they did with the sound direction and how they built into her voice being heard. So, during one part of the flashback around the midway point, there's an OST playing, there's no voices, but the OST is instrumental only. You don't hear her voice. And you see a lot, you know, it's not the saddest backstory, but it's not the happiest either. And when you finally do hear her sing eventually, she does sound great, right? Like, there's a scene where basically she's dehydrated, passed out, not looking good. She discovers a stream of water, and then that's when she had an idea for a song. And when you finally hear her voice come in, that's the point where she truly found her voice. And then it leads into this cute little love story about this person saying, hey, we want to share your music with the world, but you're going to be my songs. It's a cute little romance here. And hell, at the very end of the episode, you see them reunite, so it's fantastic. That whole scene was just beautifully directed. It got across a lot of emotion without necessarily trying to make you shed a tear. Just more of a, yeah, that wasn't the best lifestyle, was it? But look at how far you've come. You've accomplished so much more than anyone probably ever thought possible, especially your parents, right? I mean, she tried to play music one time at night, and I thought mom was gonna break a banjo over her head or something. I don't know. It didn't seem like the best company, so to be fair. And the fights, man, I mean, I might go as far to say this crazy bitch is probably my favorite opponent we've ever fought in ReZero. The facial animation, the amount of just craziness that comes off of her production, and her fighting style's cool. And just how pathetic she is. Like, the fact that she needs everyone to be one, which is basically indoctrinated and following her. Once we break that song, you can just see how little is left of her control, or lack of control, really. Because did she ever really have control, or did she just have a gun pointed at people's heads, right? Just good stuff across the board. Very, very good episode. I like they didn't waste any time. The after the credit scene's like a minute and 20-ish seconds, and they got across everything they needed to get you excited for the Subaru confrontation next week. They're doing a really good job this season, but yeah, I don't like the feeling. This is way too good to be true. Like, we are doing exceptionally well, and that has me very scared, because if we succeed with Season 3, Season 4 is going to be... It's just going to be brutal, isn't it? You let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, whether if you're anime only like me, or if you read that source material. How did you feel about this episode? Did you like it as much as me? Discuss. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Kekrek, Achio, Clay Samuel, Hayden, Cody Nemeller, Oris Lopez, Chorus, and we also have Project 7, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.